So maybe to kind of bring it to the present, like you just mentioned a little while ago that in many ways around the issues of institutional bias and so forth, that it's been hard to see many gains made and so forth. But what's your sense of what's happening in the greater Grand Rapids area right now around disability justice? I mean, do you feel like there's some movement in a good direction? What kinds of efforts are being organized around that?
Okay, let's see. You remember how I said that the the best national effort is a good local effort, or I didn't use that term, but or that phrase, but I found a little bit of difficulty when I began in National Adapt. When I come home and I try to organize something, or knowing that I needed to organize something, I just felt like, wow, the energy, the huge high of being on this national action, it just kind of dissipated like that. And there wasn't, and I was the only one from this area going. So it was really difficult to kind of ramp up and try to, create some stuff, some to create some energy in this area, all by myself. So I remember it as a matter of fact. I mean, you would think that if you explain to people with disabilities that this stuff's going on, that I mean, and it's understandable that some people don't realize how how big this institutional bias is. I mean, you're in your own life, you got what you needed, and you or maybe things could be better, but you're getting by, and that's what you're focusing on. But you would think that if you go around and you try to tell people that it's a lot bigger picture than that, and your situation could be improved, and better than that, you could save some people that right now are wasting away in nursing homes and don't need to be. I actually I recall coming to a guy's house who said, I was explaining to him about ADAPT, and he actually really bluntly said, "Yeah, but I'm okay though. I don't see any reason to go and get arrested or whatever. I mean, I'm fine, or to support that cause." And so I ran into, when I did try to do stuff, I ran into that kind of attitude a lot as well. So it was difficult to get things going, but so for a long time I really didn't. I just focused on the national efforts, and then I would try to support state efforts. There was a larger group in Lansing, and there's a couple of people from Detroit, and like that. So, but then in 2015, I started a grant. I literally started a. Then in 2015, I actually started really getting on this, though, I think, and I'm fairly optimistic that we're going to have a positive impact. What started me off on this was that, okay, last year, 2016 now, last year in the summer, one of the biggest public events, arguably, would have been the Wealthy Theater mayoral debate, the mayoral debate held at the Wealthy Theater. And I'm in Kentwood, and it was a mayoral debate for Grand Rapids, but I wanted to go. I was fond of George Hartwell, and I know a little bit about Rosalind Bliss, and I just wanted to see it. So I went downtown, and I found that I should have known this, but it was I should have known this, but it was one of those things where you have to say you're coming or whatever, a reservation kind of thing. But since I brought my own chair, and they had a wheelchair seating area open, I was allowed to stay, and it was great. I went all the way down to the front. I was watching, but as I was coming out, I realized I'm not even from Grand Rapids, and I'm the only one with at least obvious physical disability here. I mean, there are a lot of hidden disabilities, and I'm sure there are a number of people in the crowd with disabilities. But as far as a wheelchair user, I mean, why would it be any less important to a wheelchair user who's going to be the next mayor of Grand Rapids than it would be to anybody else? Why are people with disabilities not being involved in whatever sort of civics-based thing that it requires you be involved in, that you care who's going to be the next mayor? I mean, is it actually a matter of, you know, a real practical barrier that people with disabilities couldn't get out, or is it, you know, like a lack? Is it apathy? Is it So it kind of hit me that this lack of presence of people with disabilities in society and community and anything and everything. I mean, every place that people go, at the mall, the restaurants, we are supposedly, according to the census, and I'm sure they're not wrong, we're supposedly literally the largest minority in the country, with 57 million people with disabilities. So that's at 19% of the population, 57 million of us. So that's like at 20%, that'd be 1 in 5 people would be a person with a disability. Now they said that 30 million of the people they said that 30 million of the people consider themselves to have a significant physical disability, like being in a wheelchair or being blind, which to me says that those are people that, you know, you could visibly spot. So you know, if 19% is 1 in 5, then half of that would be 1 in 10. So that means every 10th person should be somebody with a physical disability, you know, in a wheelchair or blind or something. And you can count tens and tens and tens of people without coming across a person with a disability. So we're just simply not getting out, and that was kind of the impetus of me wanting to start Grand Rapids Adapt, to really, really get it going, because I believe that I mentioned earlier that, or in another piece, that National Adapt has been pushing legislation that would end the institutional bias since like 1991 or 92 or something, and that's still not passed. And I believe that if the public knew, or if the disability community were more active, that there would be no way that they could stifle the push that we're making for this to become law. So it might sound like some of our initiatives have nothing to do with ending the institutional bias, but I believe that our main push is is a visibility project, really, of people with disabilities, to get people out into the community and out into society and interacting with people. I mean, imagine if every place you looked there were people with disabilities. I mean, there would no longer be this, well, don't stare. I mean, it'd be everywhere. So, I mean, you'd be, if it happened all at once at least, you'd have to stare, because it would be such a transformation of from the way things are right now. So, you know, I use this mouth stick to type. I'm always carrying it around in my mouth when I'm going around wherever. Somebody would, you know, wonder what that's about, or they'd start paying attention, and they'd look, and they'd see, oh, I see what he uses it for. They'd see you if I'm at a restaurant or something, that the little utensil that I use to eat, that those kinds of questions would be answered. They'd become more familiar with the strange body language of people with disabilities, and the way, like, my hands are kind of backwards, and the questions, you know, why is he like that, which are okay when it's coming from a kid. I believe that they would be conversations that would be taking place at home more. You know, the parents would be having conversations about people with this, people that they saw, and just it would just be a transformation of the consciousness of the country, I believe. So, so I'm really pushing for Grand Rapids Adapt to start getting people out, and we're just actually starting really slow, saying, hey, let's find 4 or 5 friends and try to go out and do a dinner a month. Unfortunately, living on Social Security, it's difficult to get out more than that for financial reasons. But I think we're going to make a good push for that. Maybe we can get some funding, some sort of a grant to underwrite getting out and going out and eating. That'd be great. But who knows, right? So and then there's DisArt. That's another thing, headed up by Chris Smith and some other good people. Last year, 2015, was the first DisArt festival, and there were some great pieces by people with disabilities. There's some it's just really opening up. I feel like Grand Rapids is going to be a great center of new vital activity for the disability community. Chris and I and some people from Equity Drinks and SNAC, which stands for Special Needs Advocacy Alliance of Kent County. I think that we're all gonna I feel like we're all gonna start working together, and Disability Advocates of Kent County, good people there as well. I think we're really gonna start pulling together some really positive projects that are hopefully going to transform the way that people in the community see people with disabilities, and the way people with disabilities see themselves even. So yeah, I'm really excited about the near future here.